is she just kind of attached to Rudy at this point? And is there a slight romance brewing there? I don't know. I'm the anime only, but yeah, I can't help but think that, right? Hey guys, so this is a clip from our podcast, drops every Tuesday. We're going to leave it linked up top. So check out that content and don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe. Thanks, guys. All right, let's get into some Mushoku Tensei here. Jobless Reincarnation, Season 2, Episode 6. This show just doesn't know how to let you down, man. So what did you think of this week's episode of Mushoku Tensei?
Some good stuff, man. Every week I'm worried. I'm like, oh, is this gonna be the week where it's gonna fall off? Is this the week where it's not gonna be as good as I hope it's gonna be? It's back to like week 6 of this thought, and it's still good as I always think it's gonna be. Some really nice and emotional, good scenes there. Some nice. I like the beginning there where it showed Paul's journey, and in the opening, that moment there.
Yeah,
dude, they really know how to utilize those opening moments of just pure panning. It's like, oh, we get to see Paul's journey, how he got from being teleported to where he is now. It's like, okay, so that was a really nice little moment there. But just good stuff, man. The emotion, the good guy bartender helping them out there. Oh, it's just good stuff. Good stuff. What do you think about this episode?
Yeah, such a great opening there. Let's break it down. So the opening has Paul and Norn, and they're basically like stranded, right? They're just like, well, and she's looking to him for guidance, and he's like, all right, well, let's get going. And so I think that's one great thing about Mushoku Tensei is that the openings always they never waste a frame in the show, man.
Oh, they
even
don't.
the OPs.
Oof.
Like it's not a standard OP, but they use the music, and then they sort of incorporate. They try to catch up the viewer, or they show the setting of the world that they're in. So there's nothing wasted here. There's no fat. It's all straight to the goods. So yeah, and then it basically the first half of the episode is basically Paul and Geese, which is interesting, right? Because Geese is kind of the comedic character that kind of jumped on the caravan. And here he is, and man, I gotta say the dialogue was so strong between the two of them. Let me just read 2 lines from my English translation that Geese was telling Paul. I mean, you could see where Paul was coming from, but Geese was very level-headed in his assessment of the situation. And Geese
the third eye perspective.
Yeah, basically. And Geese says at one point, it doesn't take a genius to see you as pathetic now, Paul. And, they're drinking beers, they're at the tavern. I'm like, man, that hits hard. And then the one that really hit hard is right before he left, because they're talking about how difficult it was for Rudy to cross through the demon continent. And he asks, were you hoping for a dead-eyed son with parts of him missing? So because Paul's is thinking that his son is off having a blast, and he kind of resents that. But at the same time, did you want him to struggle all these years? Did you want him to go through hell? I mean, he survived, and you should be proud of him for doing that.
Come back like a veteran, an arm missing or something.
Exactly. For what the situation is, Geese is basically saying you should just be thankful that you get to see your son and that he made it out alive. So such powerful dialogue. I mean, what did you think of that first half of the episode? Such a great scene, in my opinion.
Yeah, those like the dialogue there was like it was just like cutthroat, just like Geese was just giving it to him. He's like, he's only like he's a child, and then it was so good, so good.
Yeah, and then Paul goes to check on Norn, and then he kind of gets these not flashbacks, but he gets these visions of Rudy, kind of hurt and wounded. He splashes water on his face, and then basically what happens is, the next half of the episode, he goes to apologize to Rudy. And one thing I noticed about that scene is much slower dialogue, which is perfect because, again, the show is trying to be realistic, right? So they kind of sit down. Eris is all pissed, but Ruiger, takes her out. He says, you got to let them handle it. And basically, they sit down, and it's kind of awkward for a while. They're not really talking to each other. But eventually, Rudy, Paul goes to apologize. He's realized his wrong. And Rudy, what was so good about this half of the episode, again, the whole episode was great, but it connects to this is like a real genuine isekai here, connects to his otherworld self. And so Rudy thinks to when, he had a falling out with a friend and how he had too much pride and ego to connect with him again and, rekindle that relationship. But here his father is, who is, from my sub translation, it said he was 30 years old. So Rudy in his real life said he was older at that point. So he's saying, well, my father is younger than I was and he's doing better than me, and he's trying to apologize to me and he's trying to mend this relationship. So Rudy kind of becomes the bigger man and embraces Paul. He says, "You know what? Let's all water under the bridge. Let's start from scratch here." And man, that hug, beautiful scene. What'd you make of this? What'd you make of this scene, Germs?
Oh, it was so good. I love the like when he like looked. He's like, because Rudy was like looking down the whole time. He's like, oh, you're not looking him in the eye.
Yes,
He's like, I gotta look. And then the bartender's like, look him in the eye.
bartender.
Yeah, the
Yep,
bartender's like, oh, so good. The
so
Paul's
good.
facial expressions, the emotion, the animation in that. It hits more than any fight scene. That could have happened this episode. It hits even deeper than that. And then that hug between father and son, that's just that good shit, man.
Yeah,
The
yeah, and then
emotions there.
yeah, a very emotional episode. The viewers weren't wrong about that when they prepared us for this very emotional episode. So yeah, and then Eris and Ruijerd return. And, and of course, Eris is a hothead, she's like, "What are you doing here with him? He made you all upset." Again, I think it's so cute that she's, um, being offended for Rudy. Again, that slight spice, building, right? So, that's cool to see. But
Mhm.
then he basically tells her, "Hey, Eris, you don't really have a home to return to. Both of us don't really have a home to return to." And what really shocked me, Germs, was she was like, "Yeah, I you think I didn't anticipate that or expect that?" So, as an anime only, I'm the anime only guy here. Now I gotta be thinking a couple things here from her character's perspective. If she was somewhat anticipating that or ready for that news to be brought on her, does she just like the journey with Rudy? Does she, is she just having fun with him? Is she, obviously there's the element of romance there, but is she, if she is aware that she might not have a family to return to, is she just happy to spend her life with Rudy and Ruijerd at this point? Is she just going along for the journey? I mean, they are kids; they are like 11 or whatever, so they're young,
Yeah.
but still, to lose your family is pretty devastating. So is she just kind of attached to Rudy at this point, and is there a slight romance brewing there? I don't know. I'm the anime only, but yeah, I can't help but think that, right? So what'd
Mm.
you make of that?
Yeah, I think it was pretty good. I didn't really think of that. From what I remember, I didn't remember Eris thinking about that kind of stuff, but maybe that just wasn't even in the manga. Because for so long, for me, for so long, until around here, I didn't even think about that either. As a reader, seeing the story from the third eye's perspective, like, oh yeah, there, what did happen to her, rest of her family? We just know the grandpa's gone, but that's just because we're in the audience. And like, what happened to everyone else? We still haven't even
Yeah.
seen Ghislaine or anyone else. Literally anyone else other than Paul's literally the first person. Well, I guess also Roxy, but Roxy was already kind of not even in
But
there.
they didn't really meet with Roxy. Roxy was really close to them, but we saw Roxy, but they didn't even get to reunite with Roxy. So yeah, the first person that they reunited with was pretty much Paul, right?
Yeah, because Roxy wasn't even part of the teleportation incident. She was already doing somewhere else.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
Paul's the first person that got teleported. That's like, hey, look, it's my father. Now it's like,
Right.
now where's everyone else in my family? Then it's like, oh wait, Roxy, Eris also has a family. Where are they at too? So I think these last few episodes really opened up like, well, wait, I didn't really think about that kind of stuff. Like just like how we're just like with Rudy's shoes, we didn't really think about it. We were
Yeah,
just on the
well,
adventure for so long.
right, and again, you read the manga, I'm anime only. Again, we haven't neither of us have even touched the actual source material, which is the light novel. So, if there is a hint of romance brewing here, or there is something, told from Eris's perspective, Maybe it's in the light novels, maybe, you know what I mean? Like, manga can only adapt so much, and then from there, the anime can only adapt so much, but yeah, just something I thought about. I'm like, well, if Eris is kind of accepting of her family being gone too, does she just does she just love Rudy at this point? I don't know. Just saying, just saying. So yeah, and then basically the episode ends, and I guess Rudy's off to find the rest of his family, right? And then that's just kind of the new goal here going
Hmm.
forward, and yeah,
Yeah.
and Ruijerd's on board with that. Eris is on board with that. It
And
seems like
Paul's also, yeah, also looked
Paul was gonna
somewhere
go look
else.
somewhere as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Geese went somewhere too. So, again, it is as an anime only, I don't really know where this is leading or anything like that, but a lot of always foreshadowing of Mushoku Tensei. Always, always, always. They're always foreshadowing stuff. So, like last week's episode, they foreshadowed I think the gods or whatever term they used, right? This week they're kind of foreshadowing these parties going separate ways. So this show just doesn't there is no this show doesn't know how to disappoint. They don't know how to give us a bad episode, you know? Like they don't know how to disappoint here. So I don't think I'll ever be disappointed with Mushoku Tensei at this point. Such a good season, man.
Hmm. Yeah, I definitely agree. They're doing a great job here, and the
Yeah.
extra moments that, as a manga reader, it's like every week is Christmas for me. I might know like a little bit of here, but there could be so much more in the light novels that we're not even. I didn't get to even see. So
Right.
it's like I'm reliving the story again, and just seeing these. I mean, the animation adds that extra little spice as well. So it's like I'm getting to see these moments animated, and I'm getting to see extra moments I didn't even know they were going to be there. So this is just a beautiful experience. Even if you were a manga reader that's read this forever ago, it doesn't matter. This is like the and manga readers know a little bit about the story, but there's so many good moments in there that the light novels had.
Capture. Yeah. Yeah, it's I mean, and like the animation, like you said, have they ever given us a bad scene? Have they ever given us a character that looked like what way out of whack or something like that? Ever a bad fight scene? Like I don't there's no complaints. Where's the complaints with this show? You can't find any. You gotta go digging. You gotta be exaggerating to find complaints. But yeah, guys and gals, the weebs out there, comment down below. What did you make of this week's episode of Mushoku Tensei?